Here we're going to tie a fly called the purple haze. This is a variation of a parachute Adams. First thing we're going to do is just get our thread started. And we're going to tie in our tail, which is just going to be some Grizzly or some brown Hackle fibers. We want this tail to be about 3/4 of the length of the shank of the hook. So I just kind of roughly measure it out. Secure it to the hook, and I'm going to wrap back down, trying to keep that tail right on top of the shank of the hook, keep it from rolling from side to side. And you're going to take your thread forward. You're going to stop just past the halfway point of the shank of the hook, and you could trim the tail butt ends out of there. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in the post, which I'm just going to use some white calf body hair, not calf tail, nice fine body hair. I'm going to put it inside a hair stacker. And I'm going to stack it till the tips are nice and even. And I pull it out of the stacker. And we're going to arrange these fibers so that the tips will face forward. And I want this wing to be about the length of the shank of the hook, so I just kind of roughly measure it out. I lash it to the hook with a few tight wraps. Then I'm going to trim the excess portion at the back, just trim those out. I'll clean up the back portion there just a little bit, lay down a few wraps for a little transition. Now I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to put it right in front of the calf body hair as I pull the calf body hair back. I'm going to lay down basically a thread dam or thread wedge. And I do this by just building up thread and wrapping it back onto the calf body hair. This will stand that calf body hair right up. Then I can take my thread and go around this calf body hair. I'm going to do this with a few wraps, starting at the bottom. Then I'll creep up the post just a little bit, just a couple of millimeters. Then I'll go back down and just leave my thread hanging in front of the post. Now we're ready to tie in our piece of Hackle. For that I'm just going to use a brown Grizzly. You could use both a brown and a Grizzly, or brown or Grizzly, either one. I'm going to strip part of the base of this Hackle feather so I can tie it in. I'm just going to tie it in right on the side of the hook or on top of the hook, either way. And I'll wrap back to the post. Once I get to the post, I'm going to take my thread and lash that Hackle feather to the post and creep back down. I'm going to take my thread to just behind the hump where we tied in that calf body hair on the body there. And then we're going to take a piece of purple Lifeflex. I'm just going to tie this in right behind that hump, so make for a nicer transition from the body to the thorax. And I'm going to take it all the way back to the tail, and I'll take my thread forward all the way to just behind the parachute post. Now I'm going to take that Lifeflex, I'm going to wrap a nice tight body. This Lifeflex stretches so you can pull on it fairly hard and stretch it out. Then I'm going to take that Lifeflex once I get to the parachute post. I'll jump up to the front of the fly, and I'll go all the way to the eye, and then I'll wrap back towards the parachute post once again. Once I've done that, I'm going to capture it by lashing it to the post with my thread. A few tight wraps. And I'll leave my thread hanging off that parachute post once again. Now we're ready for our Hackle. I pull that Hackle down so I get a nice 90-degree angle off of the parachute post. And now I'm just going to wrap it around that post, going down the post as I wrap. Once I get to the bottom, I can capture that feather by just using my thread, keeping an angle on it. Keep a downward angle, that'll help keep from trapping any fibers. And once you've got it captured, you can get in there nice and close with your scissors and trim out the excess. Now you're ready to whip finish. For this I use a nice large whip finish, and I get underneath all those fibers, keeping that downward angle on the whip finish. It only takes 2 to 3 wraps. And you could put some head cement if you like under there to keep the fly from falling apart. And that's all there is to the purple haze. Very effective fly. Really catches the attention of fish. That nice shiny purple body. And that's all there is to the purple haze.